stick to the principles, the clinical principles that and the educational principles that are appropriate for FAPE and LRE, instead of capitulating, you know, out of I mean, let's break it down operationally. It's negative reinforcement. So a case manager in a school district or an administrator may act to jump on something that they know is clinically contraindicated because it creates less work for them and it quiets down someone who's, you know, undesirable in terms of their presence by just continuing to nag. So it increases your likelihood to want to give in. But then I've seen it many times where the school district later ends up, you know, saying, well, you know, I like how you said I would write a letter saying I contraindicate something to the principal. But that's where the clinicians need to do the same thing. To cover, you know, to CYA, a clinician should also contraindicate something in writing, I believe, to administration when they're going to capitulate to a parent and do something that you don't think is clinically appropriate or educationally appropriate for a learner. Now that ruffles some feathers, and especially in schools because of the politics, but I think the right thing to do is continue to stick to the principles of your scope of discipline, the law, and then just good leadership principles. And when you stick to those things, you know, you put the politics aside, they don't come back to bite you in the ass later. Because when you do capitulate, like you said, that stuff comes back later, and the same parent 5 years later says to you, how could you let me do that?
Mm-hmm. Or 5 months later.
Yeah.
And then hires an attorney, hires an attorney, right? And then what happens? They file due process, and stay put is automatically in place in the inappropriate program, which you know you gave them in the first place, and which just failed in front of your face. And then they hire an attorney, and the child's got to stay in that inappropriate program while you're having the litigation. And on top of it, I now get it as an attorney, and my job is to defend a somewhat indefensible IEP because you knew from the get-go that it was inappropriate because you gave in to the parents' demands.
Look, I realize it's easy for me to say that to you, you know, stick to your principles. I know it's easy for me to say that to you but then you have 5 other administrators telling you something differently. You feel like your job's on the line. But it's the reason I became an entrepreneur, so I could have the FU situation to do what's right for the learner.